Nikiambia hii koti kuwa maybe I guess that a lot kuwa mimi ni mrembo na nakuwa weakness kwa wanaume.
Bebe sura baya, mwili baya, handsome nini? Wapi pesa yangu?
Tafadhali punguza pilipili.
Wacha ujinga.
Unajiangalia na niangalie. Nani anazaribu?
Nitakutumula, nitakuchapa.
Mtoto, just look at me. You're not my class. You're not even my type.
And I don't want you.
Nipelekane wapi na msichana wa night club?
Wewe naweza kuweka, naweza kwa mimi mwenye hiyo club. Usinidharau.
There's a time I was selling billboards in Lunga industrial area.
Yeah.
Because you had to.
Yeah.
But the irony was, the first time I used to sing backing vocals for Eric Wenena.
Yes.
So I would be on Lunga Road, and then I ran to sing backing vocals for him, and then I jump on another show.
Yes.
So I was juggling two worlds.
Yeah.
Trauma is a good thing in one way.
Yeah.
In that it's a sieve. It will sift out for you.
Yes.
Who is legit and who's not. I love downright special love with my baby, my baby, my baby. Hi, my name is Sarah Mitaru Kimanthi. Catch me this Sunday at 6 p.m. on the Cynthia Nyamai Show.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email newsroom@kbc.co.ke, call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Of November 2021 it is. Good afternoon. This is KBC Lunchtime News. Welcome to be part of this conversation. We highly welcome your comments, suggestions, or even where you are watching us from. We are live on all our social media platforms. My name is Njue, and Lucy Maura will be handling the sign language interpretation for this live newscast. To kick us off, Narok County Governor Samuel Ole Tunai has called on residents to be cautious and steer clear of individuals bent on causing chaos during political rallies. Tunai said many leaders are campaigning as they seek support ahead of the 2022 general election and called on the politicians and electorate to exercise sobriety during gatherings. He spoke at a Maasai cultural ceremony in Loita, where he urged the youth to take the lead in condemning retrogressive practices such as female genital mutilation and early marriages.
Ni kwamba lazima tuwe na political tolerance, because katiba inakubalia kila mtu kuomba kura mahali popote. Tunataka mtu yote akitembea aombe kura mahali anataka kuomba aombe, lakini wananchi wenyewe ndio wataamua ile kiongozi ambaye wanataka kuchagua. Tumekubaliana wote ya kwamba tutaendelea kuhakikisha mambo ya FGM ya kwamba itamalizika, mambo ya early pregnancies ya kwamba itamalizika, mambo ya early marriages kwamba itakuwa wiped out. This is what we all agree as leaders.
A survey on gubernatorial seat aspirants in Nyamira County has indicated a tightly contested voting pattern in 5 top hopefuls. The survey, dubbed Countrywide Gubernatorial Poll, was conducted by Center for Africa Progress, a consultancy, management and leadership firm, between November the 4th and November the 10th, 2021. Sitting Governor Amos Nyaribo lead other competitors with 34% if the elections were to be held today during the period under review. He was followed by former Kitutu Masaba MP Walter Nyambati, 19% Borabu legislator Ben Momanyi, 17% ODM National Treasurer Timothy Bosire, 16%, and Deputy Governor James Gisami, 8%. Other aspirants in the contest scored below 4%. Nyamira County has over 270,000 registered voters, with a gubernatorial seat attracting 12 contestants.
Research that was focused on the popularity of the candidates who are seeking the seat of governor in next year's elections. So we sampled 3,000 interviewees or respondents who were distributed according to the number of registered voters in each ward.
Actually, I had a problem with your questionnaire here.
Moving on, a section of street families in Isiolo town has decried neglect by both the national and county government as well as the society. The group claims it has been left out of various programs aimed at helping vulnerable members of the society, such as relief food, cash transfers, and more so discriminated against when seeking to acquire national identity cards.
The number of street children in Isiolo has been rising tremendously in recent years, with the young men marrying off their female colleagues and starting families at a very tender age. 20-year-old Sakina Salim, who is an orphan and has a 1-year-old daughter, joined the Isiolo Israimu street families 2 years ago. This is after she fell out with her guardian when she became pregnant.
Kuna shida mingi sana, watu wanateka advantage na sisi. Sometimes hata unakuta tunawekwa mimba, watu wanatoroka kwa sababu hiyo mashida tuko naye. Vitu kama parts hatuwezi pata, vitu kama utensil, tunahitaji mattress, bed sheet, vitu za kutumia.
Another young girl raising her child from the streets of Isiolo is Catherine Kathambi. According to her, she dropped out of school while in class 1 after her grandmother, who is also physically challenged, was unable to raise the little fees that her school demanded.
Sasa tuna future, unaona hata sometime unakaa hivi unaona maisha ni ngumu. Unaona ujue lakini unaona tu hakuna maana. Inabidi tu unakaa.
The two girls said that they derive motivation from other girls living in Israimu area to wake up early and seek menial jobs such as washing utensils, clothes and business premises in Isiolo town in order to feed their children.
Wao mwenyewe unaona venye tuko na watoto, hata chakula yenyewe ni shida, mahali ya kulala yenyewe ni shida, na mtu hata hana kazi. Sasa una realize tu unakuja unakaa hapa hivi, best yako tu anakusaidia hata na 20 na baya mtoto hata ndizi.
Nicholas Kimathi, a member of Israimu, says that most of the street children are exposed to hard drugs after they are used by peddlers to deliver the drugs for a small fee. Hadija Omar, founder of Pepo la Tumaini Jangwani, a community-based organization, called upon the government and all other stakeholders to come up with programs that will ensure better living conditions for the street families.
Na ni muhimu sana tuangalie hasa wale wako kwenye hatamu za uongozi, waone kitu ile iko hapa Israel. It is not a shame. Hii ni image yetu sisi wenyewe. Hii ni tabia yetu. Hii ni sisi.
Elsewhere, 3 families in Ugunja, Siaya County, were forced to spend a night in the cold after their houses were demolished following a land dispute. According to the affected families, they were not given enough time to find alternative accommodation after being handed notice of eviction. They also decried the inhumane handling of the issue, saying the demolition was carried out by youths who were allegedly armed with crude weapons under the protection of armed police officers.
Kufika kwa mlango ya boma, mimi nakutana na hawa askari na watu mingi na jembe. Kila mtu na jembe. Namwambia nafuruga mimi huko. Enda. Mimi narudi. Kama mimi narudi nyumbani, na wengine naingia na jembe. Nachukua jembe hiyo naweka kwa nyumba. Pa kila mtu watu 6. Mabati naanguka yote. Nyumba yote naanguka chini.
Mimi sasa hakuna kitu yenye ningefanya. Mimi niko hivi. Singefanya kitu yote juu polisi pia wamesimama. Sasa kwa sheria pia haifai ulete kelele na mtu.
Elsewhere, the government has invested heavily in training specialized clinical officers and health workers in different cadres. Speaking during the 9th National Clinical Officers Anesthetist Association Scientific Conference in Mombasa, Health CAS Rashid Aman said their investment would go a long way in boosting the universal health care services. Rashid challenged the Healthcare Officers Council to maintain the routine surveillance on all training institutions to enable production of competent clinical officers compliant with international standards.
These numbers are not enough. In fact, they are way below what is recommended by the World Health Organization. And there is need to engage more clinical officer anesthetists for them to serve as many Kenyans as possible in our health facilities.
Information Communication Technology Cabinet Secretary Joe Musheru has urged the youth to explore their talents in different fields to make economic strides in the competitive world. Speaking in Nairobi after meeting representatives of the youth from all the 47 counties during a pre-deployment verification exercise, Musheru noted there is a huge untapped talent among the youth which, if well harnessed, can create an economic boom in the country. A number of youth leaders who spoke at the forum called on the government to include them in decision-making processes in the country.
And this is a dream which the president has, where the skills and the talents that we have are being fully utilized across the whole country. You've seen we have people from every county. And what's great about that is that you can tell stories from everywhere. You are here to be able to determine where we are going. The government is committed, and the president is determined to make sure that we transform the country, and especially the youth. And I'm very grateful to him for having given me the youth docket, because I feel energized each time I'm with youth. Each time I'm with talent, with skilled people that can actually be able to make a difference and transform this country of ours.
We need to have young people at the decision table. And he said we need to have National Youth Council election, and immediately we embarked on the journey of that, putting that council in place. And what am I calling upon you leaders? I'm calling upon you leaders because now you are the ambassadors of change. You are the digital promise that we're looking at.
There has not been the 16 elected and nominated young men and women, youth aged 18 to 35, to carry out that role.
Shift focus to matters politics, where the Orange Democratic Movement Party has sent a stern warning to party members and officials purporting to have secured the nomination certificate tickets that they risk disciplinary action. The party in particular warned party officials against using their positions to influence the outcome of the nomination process.
Following complaints from ODM party members in different counties of allegation that some officials have secured ODM nomination certificates for different seats, the party is now sending a warning to any member, outgoing and incoming party official, to desist from making full utterances on the party primaries nomination process. In a statement, the party members have been urged to be vigilant and report any member officials engaging in this misinformation. Elsewhere, a section of ODM Youth League from Mount Kenya have condemned the stoning of Deputy President William Ruto's convoy in Kondele on Wednesday, terming it unfortunate.
Mimi vile naweza ambia vijana
this round tumefungua macho. Hata sisi wenyewe by the way kitambo hapa 2013 kutoka 2018 hapo tumetumiwa vibaya. Hatuko tumefungua macho, lakini this round tumekula carrot, tumefungua macho. Tunaona mbali sana, karibu kilomita 5 sahi. Na tumeamua this round hakuna vita tunafanya. Hata sisi wacha tuangalie ile mwelekeo tutaenda tukijua tunaweza saidika kama mavijana.
Tunasema tutaweza kufanya kila juhudi kuona tunapigania mwenye tunataka aingie uongozini bila vita na bila kuongea maneno yasiyo ya chama yetu.
The same sentiments were echoed by Wasengesho Governor Jackson Mandago, who called relevant authorities to investigate and take quick action against the perpetrators.
Kama jambo kama hilo likitokea, badala ya msemaji wa polisi kujibizana na komanda ya polisi kule Kisumu, ambaye ndio mwenye alikuwa kwa ground, na yeye ameandika OB number kusema kulikuwa na rapsha, watu wa kurusha mawe kwa magari ya naibu ya rais. Yeye kitu angefanya ni kutuma watu waende wasake wale walirusha mawe. Kazi yake si kujibizana na komanda ya polisi na kusema sijui ilikuwa hii.
This as Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya accused the One Kenya Alliance of working in isolation to force a runoff in the 2022 general elections.
Hao watu wa Oka kuna mahali wanaenda. Na ukikaa na watu wao wanasema tuko kwa public participation. Wanasema sisi tunataka runoff. Wewe unataka runoff ufanyie nini? Omaye runoff ule mtu wa kwanza hajapata 50+1. Na ukiwa number 1 unaunda serikali. Ukiwa number 2 you are the leader of opposition. Ukiwa number 3 utakuwa nini?
And the Anglican of Kenya, Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit, has called on political leaders to refrain from early campaigns that are seeing the country politically polarized.
My urge is let us go with the calendar produced by IEBC. Campaign times as stipulated in law is not yet. And in my view, what we are doing already is not good for the country, not healthy for our economy, and not healthy for even people's lives.
Finally, Mombasa businessman and politician Suleiman Shabal has cautioned the electorate not to allow anyone to divide them and cause chaos before and after the polls. He spoke during the swearing-in ceremony of officials of the Border Safety Association of Kenya, Mombasa chapter.
Usiwache wanasiasa waje wawagawanye mukaanza kupigana. Jameni, hiyo ni siasa mbaya. Tunakubaliana hiyo.
From politics to education matters, where Northeastern Regional Commissioner Nicholas Ndalana has warned students and staff who collude to torch learning institutions that drastic measures will be taken against them. Ndalana asked parents to be on the forefront in ensuring their children are disciplined instead of completely delegating their duties to teachers.
Northeastern Regional Commissioner Nicodemus Ndalana, who met education and security officials at Garissa High School, said the region is already facing challenges including drought, and arson attacks will not be condoned.
Principals, other members of staff, it's good to know your staff. It is good to know who is who. And those ones that are not good, or those ones that are indisciplined, you try to weed them out earlier enough before they cause this kind of mayhem.
According to Garissa High School Board of Management Chairperson Abdirahman Godad, they will decide the course of action after receiving a report on last Monday's fire incident.
If it is confirmed that it is the students who burnt the dormitory and the investigators rule out an electric fault, then definitely it will be the parents who will meet the cost of the repair of that dormitory. In the meantime, we will continue working with the parents and other stakeholders to ensure that similar incidents don't happen in the school again.
Kenya National Union of Teachers Garissa Branch Executive Secretary Abdirazik Hassan called for the establishment of the Office of the Ombudsman in schools to collect and share information that might help solve cases of school unrest.
We must have Ombudsman's office in every school, such that we must have 3 types of suggestion boxes. One for the non-teaching staff, one for the students, one for the teachers, such that they give out information without putting their name or their signature. Whenever they have any information to give, let them drop it. Even if it means they want to abuse the principal, let them drop it in the suggestion box. I think that one can be collected every week, and I think a summary can be made by the ombudsman man, and he posts the same information to the principal and to the education sector, such that the ombudsman man should be clean from the authority of the principal of the BOG.
Last Sunday, Garissa University was closed indefinitely following several fire incidents over the last 2 months, while Garissa School was closed a day later after one of the dormitories was burnt down.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has directed internal security institutions to heighten surveillance across the country following the unfolding situation in the region. The president, who spoke during the National Security Council meeting, called for close surveillance of the country's borders and internal security. And moving on, detectives have recovered 19 million in fake US dollars. That story will be coming a little bit later. Elsewhere, at least 85 projects have been completed in Gatundu North Constituency in the past 4 years, among them major school renovations and construction of new police posts. Most learning institutions in the area lacked quality classrooms, with most having broken doors, inhabitable lavatories and shattered windows. Speaking in Gitwamba Ward while unveiling renovated Miugu and Jadhaini primary schools, Gatundu North MP Wanjiku Kibe said that the esteem of the learners has begun rising, thereby attracting an enrollment of more students. Parents, teachers and education stakeholders lauded the school's development project, saying they will result in improved quality of learning that will culminate in improved performance.
We have done over 85 projects that we have been able to complete. Our major focus for this term was mainly in our primary schools. Performance is improving because the moment you change the learning environment, then as a teacher, I know it is a key factor that affects education.
And on that note, we first of all now cross over to Mombasa, where the Engineer Summit has been taking place this weekend. We have our very own O'Brien Kimani, who has been keeping a keen eye on the developments of the Engineer Summit. O'Brien, if you can hear me, kindly bring us up to speed on the latest. We know very well that today is the last day of the summit.
I can't hear you. Remove your mask. I can't hear. Well, thank you, Ben Troy Joy. The curtains are finally drawing for the 28th Engineers Conference, which has been taking place here since Monday this week. And the culmination is, of course, resolutions that will be worked on to ensure that various issues are addressed. I'm now joined by the key stakeholders in this meeting who have been on the floor, who have been chairing various meetings. And of course, we want to hear from them on what they expect going forward. Next to me is Engineer Michael Ochieng. He's the Director of Public Works at Nairobi Metropolitan Services. Thank you very much indeed, Engineer. For the last 5 days, engineers have discussed many things. As we come close to the end of this meeting, what is your take home?
Yes, thank you very much. As you've rightfully said, I work with the Nairobi Metropolitan Services, and we are part of this engineering fraternity. We know very well that infrastructure improvement is key to development. It's actually the center of development. And that's why when we come to a conference like this, we share views on how do you improve infrastructure. On the sector particularly that I am working on in Nairobi Metropolitan Services, we are dealing with roads, or what I would call urban mobility improvement. All people in Nairobi are aware of the challenges they face in traffic congestion. So part of discussion in this conference is how do you improve urban mobility? How do we improve transportation? And of course, NMS in collaboration with other road agencies in Nairobi have been trying to congest the city through several strategies. One of them is improving in terms of roads themselves. And you know the expressway is currently almost being completed. We also have the improvement of road surfaces. So more paved roads are now in Nairobi. There's also road rehabilitation. This conference has really discussed the issue about maintenance, monitoring and maintenance, quick maintenance of roads within our entire city. So we have shared ideas on constant monitoring and constant improvement of our roads in the country to improve mobility. But above all, we as NMS advocate a lot to introduction other modes of transport. It's not only vehicular. We are moving towards when we have mass populations, we move towards mass rapid transport systems, which means that we move our population to move in trains, to move in buses, rather than to move towards single vehicular carrying capacity, which only contributes 13%.
Very good. And now next to you is Dr. William Kingi. He's a deputy governor of Mombasa County and representing the chief guest who was supposed to be Right Honorable Raila Odinga, the former Prime Minister. And one of the issues that has been raised by engineers here is that counties are not hiring as many engineers as possible. What would be a remedy for this?
Well, I think there is a feeling amongst professionals, especially engineers, that in the counties there's no job security, the pay is low, maybe there's always political interference in once you come into county. But we need technical people to come into county so that they can boost the performance of the county. We have many infrastructural projects which are going on, and definitely we need the best amongst the engineers to come in, and we welcome them to come in and work with us. Mm-hmm. So some of these are just fears, but as that's why we are here, so that we see how we can collaborate, especially with the engineering bodies like this. If we can have close collaboration, then I think some of these fears can be erased. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Engineer Matalangi is the president of Institution of Engineers of Kenya. The meeting has come up with more than 12 points that they think they are going to advance going forward. Can you highlight two points which you think are very critical going forward?
Yes. Thank you very much, O'Brien. We today ending our conference, and the major two takeaways, O'Brien, have been that engineers have to rise up and realize that unless we get involved in legislation at all levels, from the county to Parliament and to the Senate, then we are not going to be able to influence policy, because the direction is done at legislation level. The setup is done by the members of Parliament. So we need to be able, if you're not able to go and vie for elective positions, we need to be able to talk to the members of Parliament, to influence them, give them direction, lobby them, so that we influence the bills that are being enacted. The second point is for us to grow our capacity in soft skills. We need to be able to do, because as an engineer, I can do law, I can do arbitration, I can also do supplies and management, so that in terms of procurement in specialist areas, technical areas, an engineer who has supply skills, it's not hard to achieve these certificates that are in the Public Procurement Act. We are able to get them, so that we are able to direct the resources. Direct procurement, technical procurement is very important, and this, when it is headed by a non-technical person, many times go bad. You saw the case of the Kenya Power and the transformers. or also the over-procurement, you are buying in bulk. The case at KEMSA went really wrong because it was not led by technical procurement specialists. Yes.
I also want to hear from Engineer Ochieng. I mean, one of the resolutions is that EBK, Borax, and NCA to work together to try and audit all the buildings or some of the buildings in Nairobi and some of the other counties as NMAs. What role are you expected to play to facilitate that?
You see, NMAs plays a central role. One of the functions NMAs took over from the county was the issue of housing and lands, and therefore the element of approval of buildings falls squarely in the county, just like in any other county, be it the local authority approves the development plans and therefore follows up to ensure that they are implemented according to the approvals. So what we are talking about in the auditing is looking at those ones which have not abided by the approval, were built irregularly, and as a consequence, some actions we have taken in Nairobi is go forward and take steps to demolish such structures because they are a threat to society and a threat to the public. So that's what we are going to undertake, and that's what the conference has discussed.
Very well. And as I wind up, Daktari, how do you plan to work with the engineers, fraternity going forward to improve infrastructure in Mombasa County?
Well, first, I will request that we have an MOU with the Institute of Engineering here in Kenya, so that we have access to this professional advice from such professional bodies. I think that's very important. And then also definitely we are inviting qualified engineers to come and join the county so that we can team up in building our county. Yes. Gentlemen, thank you so very much. In the interest of time, we may not continue, but we'll keep, of course, interacting. Asante sana. Well, this is the last day of the Engineers Conference, which has been taking place here in Mombasa for the last 5 days. We'll keep on tracking what the discussions here will be going forward, and of course, we'll be putting the officials here to task in our subsequent engagement with them. O'Brien Kimani is my name. Thank you very much. Ben Troy, back to you in Broadcasting House.
Thank you, O'Brien Kimani, live from the coastal city of Mombasa, where the summit, the Engineer Summit, will be officially closed today. And of course, they have made tremendous steps talking about engineers' more involvement when it comes to legislation so as to influence policy and make the industry a little bit more vibrant. Something else I've been able to pick up, of course, close collaborations, as the Deputy Governor of Mombasa has talked about, to better, of course, the sector. Do remember that they play a key role in actualizing one of the big 4 agendas. Moving on, over 1,200 children in 5 charity homes will benefit from goodies donated by MultiChoice Kenya. The donations include a 40-inch TV set for each home and assorted food stuff. This is part of GoTV's initiative to have the less fortunate in society enjoy the festive Christmas season too. Take a look.
Targeting 1,200 children in the 5 homes, the caravan will deliver a 40-inch smart TV, GoTV decoder with a 1-year subscription on the super bouquet and foodstuffs including maize flour, wheat flour, cooking oil, sugar, salt, rice, sanitizers and soap. Nancy Matimu, Managing Director, MultiChoice Kenya, said the donation will be an early Christmas gift to the children as they enjoy access to the great entertainment on GoTV.
We have launched our Christmas campaign. Internally, we call it a festive campaign, but it's all Christmas. And we have an offer on our DSTV customers and for our GoTV customers as well. Given that the last 2 years have been really challenging, this is an opportunity where we know the country is open, the vaccine rate is going up, so we know that we'll be spending a lot more time with our loved ones, and it's an opportunity to actually create memories, lasting memories actually, around the entertainment that we as MultiChoice offer.
During the festive season, DSTV and GoTV will be aiming an all-round entertainment content tailored for the family setup.
Quite a noble cause indeed. Moving on, detectives have recovered 19 million shillings in fake US dollars after an operation to crack a fake diamonds ring led them to the discovery of fake cash. In an undercover operation by Crime Research and Serious Crimes detectives, the fake currency concealed in a briefcase was recovered. A couple has been arrested in connection to the scheme where a city-based management consultant was swindled over 11 million shillings in a diamond scam.
A couple is in police custody for conning a city-based management consultant over 11 million shillings in a diamond scam. This followed a report filed by the complainant after what first appeared to be a lucrative lifetime venture turned out to be a joke and the biggest fraud after being introduced to a Botswana national for business venture. Detectives managed to recover 19 million shillings in fake US dollars from the suspects who are facing charges of obtaining money by false pretense. Meanwhile, DCI officers in Nakuru last evening impounded a lorry ferrying suspected ethanol liquid. According to the detectives, they received tip-off from members of the public and laid a trap on the suspected motor vehicle. Regional Director of Criminal Investigation Mwenda Meme has said that the consignment was being ferried from Eldoret to Nakuru.
Found that it is ferrying some porridge flour from that end. There were some sacks, and inside there is a consignment of 15 drums of 250 liters each, and it is containing, we are suspecting it is ethanol.
The suspect will be arraigned at Nakuru Local today. For Lunchtime News, I'm Ruth Wamboi.
And it's a life-changing moment for 100 members of Emmanuel Self-Help Group in Loilei Village, Samburu North, after they got funding from the county government's Youth and Women Enterprise funds to drill a borehole that will provide sufficient water to the residents of Loilei Village.
The main outcome of this Youth and Women Enterprise Fund is to increase access to funding opportunities for youth and women. So basically, so far, we have several groups who are able to graduate from simple self-help groups to go to the cooperatives.
About 36 minutes past the hour. I'm quite sure we are due for our fast break, but don't go away, we still have more news. Let me appreciate Joel Musheru, Alex Nyabuga, Robert Miheso, Nigul Somalin, Dickens Omolo, Mude, Martin, Ben, Terrell, John Nyongesa, and others who are watching us online. This is KBC. We'll be right back with more news.
From 548 days in 1963 to more than 3,200 days in the period between January and September 2021, Kenyan roads have evolved to become a major killer. What is the National Transport and Safety Authority doing to disassemble this death trap?
That road courtesy issue, right, is one of the core factors. Do we have to talk about drink and driving? You know yourself the dangers about it. High speed, you know why there's speed limits in this country. They are to protect you as a road user. So the infrastructure is being built to be the world's class standard. But we also have to take our role as a citizen in this country.
This week on Inside Government, we talk to NTSA Director General George Njue on what the authority is doing to enhance road safety here in Kenya, right here on KBC Channel 1.
We
are here to create a safe space for men and a safe space for women to come and interact with men so they can learn a bit more about us.
I always say that privilege is the opportunity to fail. And that's what I want to give my kids, like the opportunity. You can fail 100 times, I'm here, like it's fine. And I think what everyone strives for is that opportunity to be waking up every morning, doing something they love, going to bed, feeling fulfilled, and having a loving environment. I think that's the essence.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
Behind increasing cases of preterm birth.
Preterm birth we define as any birth before 37 weeks of gestation.
Who is at a risk of developing these complications?
People with poor economic status tend to be more vulnerable to have those.
I'm just trying to understand whether preterm babies can be helped.
Find every center has the age at which they're going to be able to salvage the babies.
Speaking.
Welcome back and thanks for keeping it KBC. Moving on to business now. Local fruit and vegetable exporters are calling for government intervention in accessing markets for their produce as well as credit to pay off debts. According to Avoveg CEO Nathan Lloyd Ndongo, there is need for a subsidy fund to revamp the niche sector that has suffered high losses owing to the global COVID-19 travel restrictions that saw markets close their borders to exports.
In the last 5 years, there's been a significant increase in the production of Hass avocados from smallholder farmers, which together with production from larger farms has made Kenya's volumes grow significantly, making Kenya the 8th largest exporter in the world.
We've been through the worst. Let's look at it that way, 2020 and 2021. But for 2022, prospects look very good, mainly because now that we will start our new avocado season and we'll bounce back and try and start recovering from our losses.
However, COVID-19 disruptions adversely affected this niche subsector as a source of markets closed borders. This resulted in huge losses and debt that local exporters are still trying to overcome.
How is it on the ground? What can we do? And then now give the same instructions to the other bodies. I said before, it's not just about lifting your CRB record. You still have the loan. What created and caused the loan? COVID effects. What is the strategy to recover? With adequate time, you have an adequate grace period. You cannot expect a bounce back in 2 or 3 months. The bounce back will take at least 6 months just to start bouncing back.
As such, players are calling for a subsidy fund to support operations and more so open up credit lines. This comes at a time when the world's consumers are demanding more from farmers. To deliver quality products to the market, growers must ensure proper crop husbandry, including fertilizer and related inputs, application at the right stage. Harvesting too must be at the correct maturity level and the correct post-harvest and cold chain management protocols adhered to the letter. Regina Manyar reporting for Lunchtime News.
Planners from the East African Community countries want the member states to allocate enough funds for planning cities and urban centers. The city planners from the region have been meeting in Malindi to deliberate on the next decade's planning of regional states. The Kenya Institute of Planners say that in Kenya, only 4 of the 47 counties have developed spatial plans.
Africa's urban population has been growing at a very high rate, from about 27% in 1950 to 40% in 2015 and projected to reach 60% by 2050. The migration puts a strain on resources available in urban areas, especially in cities without spatial planning. Planners in the East African region now want the government to allocate more funds to spatial planning to ensure the amenities expand with the number of people. Joachim Nyarangi, the president of the Kenya Institute of Planners, said in Kenya, only 4 counties have so far developed spatial plans out of the 47 counties, a worrying number in accordance to the progress anticipated for the year in Vision 2030.
We'll come out of here with policy recommendations, legislation review recommendations, and planning recommendations that will be able to guide policy makers in making those decision makers in making the decisions. And one of the things we're looking at is tying budgeting, especially at the national level, national budgeting for development, to approved spatial.
The planners body said it would come up with policy recommendations, legislations, and planning recommendations to guide policymakers in the making of spatial plans for the counties that are still lacking. Players called upon regional policymakers to commit towards enabling infrastructural and social economic projects that would aid urbanization of the region. Kenya National Lands Commission stated the need for planning of cities and towns to ensure sewage and waste products are not dumped into rivers that end up intoxicating the water and pose a health risk to the lives of people.
Understand how planning is important, and I hope this is going to come out, and I'm sure it will, in these discussions of high level, and I am very happy people like this are here to engage in this discussion.
Have the well-planned areas with good structure plans, but if the government has no interest in giving planning priority, you'll find that those plans are not implemented.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, my name is Hibak Said.
Moving on, chefs have been called upon to venture into entrepreneurship to build the local cuisine and take it to the world. Players in the hospitality industry in the East African region said there was need for chefs who have skill and know-how to innovate and build the regional cuisine so that it can grow to levels of world-renowned food like the French and Italian cuisines.
French, Chinese and Italian cuisines are the most popular globally. Top 10 cuisines are dominated by Asian and European cuisines, with no mention of an African cuisine. East African chefs have been challenged to push the region's food to the world through entrepreneurship and innovation.
They can look at entrepreneurship, that's what we're really talking about. And Sheffield has solutions built in Kenya for Africa. So these are solutions that we're looking at, empowering chefs to be entrepreneurs.
The players were speaking during the Regional Chefs Conference and Food Expo, which brought together players in the hospitality industry across the region. The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the sector came to fore, with industry players decrying the mass job losses the sector experienced when the industry was shut.
Tumeona kwamba kuna kazi nyingi sana ziliharibika kwa upande wa utalii. Mahoteli yamefungwa mengine, unaona. Kwa hivyo tunawafundisha machef pia katika kongamano hili kuanza biashara zao wenyewe.
They further challenged the government to support the food and culinary arts as a major driver in attracting and sustaining tourism. Betty Kiptum, Lunchtime News.
Moving on, farmers have been encouraged to start the cultivation of grafted oranges to increase their yields and earn more from their produce. The orange grafting venture, started by the Agriculture Development Corporation ADC, reduces the maturity of an orange tree from 6 years to a maximum of 3 years.
Kenya orange exports are estimated to be worth approximately 12 million shillings annually. Ethiopia, Germany, DRC Congo, Qatar and Somalia are the key destinations for Kenyan oranges. As Kenya seeks new markets for its horticulture products, farmers have been encouraged to consider taking up cultivation of grafted oranges to increase their yields to meet the global orange demand.
Crops that we have here are all grafted. They're grafted so that they can give you faster produce. If we don't graft and we just leave the root stock to grow into a plant, it can take even up to 6 years or more.
Grafted oranges produce quality fruits that can compete in the international markets.
A crop that has a good root stock to a crop that has a sweet and fast growing crop, and then you combine the two and then you plant, you will harvest in 3 years. So these are some of the technologies that we use.
As compared to the traditional orange variety, the hybrid orange seeds can also withstand harsh weather patterns, ensuring farmers harvest fruits every season.
For this financial year, we are targeting 900 tons of oranges, which will translate to that 1 million in this financial year. This year, we are seeing a lot of improvements, especially in the production of the oranges.
The Agriculture Development Corporation targets to incorporate more farmers in high agriculture potential regions to start cultivation of the hybrid seed by making grafted orange seedlings easily accessible. Benson Njue reporting for Lunchtime News.
And across borders, Tanzania is fast realizing the potential of fintech solutions for its unbanked population, and it is putting in place drastic measures to make the playing field favorable for both domestic and foreign investors. The Bank of Tanzania, the country's central bank, provided a conducive regulatory environment for engagement with stakeholders, with the bulk of the content coming from local players.
Users of different mobile wallets could now transfer money from one mobile wallet to another, opening up opportunities for innovators to create a myriad of solutions. The accessibility of financial services rose from 86% nationally, while hitting 78% for those living in rural areas. There has also been steady growth in active mobile wallets. This includes users of mobile banking, mobile lending, saving, money transfers, online mobile payment systems, scanning, and tapping card payment aggregation, and international remittance businesses. Finally, the Ghana government has entered into a public-private partnership with an Indian company, Rosie Royal Limited, to refine gold in the country. The agreement states that the government of Ghana will receive a 20% equity share in the gold refined by the Indian company locally, while the Indian investor, which built the refinery, gets 80%. Currently, all the gold produced by mining companies in Ghana are refined outside the country. Therefore, the government gains nothing from gold refined abroad. It has also formed part of government's policy to at least refine 30% of all gold produced in Ghana. Reporting for Lunchtime News, Macau McBrien.
In sports, World Soccer governing body FIFA has threatened to take action against Kenya if it does not reverse its decision to disband Football Kenya Federation. Sports Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohamed yesterday appointed a caretaker committee headed by former Judge Aaron Ringera to run soccer in the country for a period of 6 months. In a letter sent to the Football Kenya Federation's FIFA Chief Member Associations Officer Kenny Jean-Marie, FIFA said the action taken by Amina is contrary to the FIFA statutes and may attract sanctions. He said that FIFA alone, on the basis of serious and well-founded information as well as under exceptional circumstances, can order the dismissal of executive bodies of member associations and appoint a normalization committee. He said that FIFA is willing to hold an arbitration meeting with the FKF and the Ministry of Sports to address any concerns both sides may have and to decide on the way forward for the sake of Kenyan football. Because the committee has held a briefing right here in Nairobi, and we will be coming with more details in our subsequent bulletin. Elsewhere, Kenya representatives to this year's CAF Women's Champions League, Vihiga Queens, will be seeking to produce a stunning performance when they play against Nigerian side River Angels today at 5 p.m. The match will be aired live on KBC Channel 1. The winner between the Angels and the Queens will face either South African side Mamelodi Sundowners or Morocco outfit Asfar. Vihiga, who are making their maiden appearance in the continental event, will hope to replicate the same performance they showed in their previous encounter under the tutorage of Charles Okere. Athletics Kenya held their third leg of countrywide consultative meetings in Njue, where approximately 70 athletes from Nyandarua, Murang'a, Kirinyaga, Kiambu and Nyeri counties were in attendance. Nyeri County CEC in charge of education and sports, Margaret Masharia, said athletes' concerns cannot be simply swept under the carpet and that counseling sessions need to be provided for the athletes. The next meeting will be held this afternoon at Nyahururu, Nyandarua County, home of former Olympic marathon champion Samuel Wanjiru. Kenya women netball team showed an impressive performance and registered their first win in the ongoing Africa Cup in Namibia, where they claimed a narrow 46-45 win against Botswana. The win put Kenya in the 5th position in the standing with 2 points after playing 2 matches.
After a poor run of results in the first week of the African Championship Campaign Series in Namibia, Kenya women netball team hopes of registering a win bore fruits after claiming a narrow 46-45 win over Botswana in their second match of the Commonwealth Games qualifiers. Botswana won 12-10 in the first quarter before Kenya claimed a 23-22 win in the second.
Beautiful goal, take shot.
Botswana takes the shot.
Still Kenya with a center pass.
The Kenyans came back more rejuvenated in the third quarter to win 36-33.
Oh, beautifully played.
And the goal shooter Kenya.
And the shooter ball side,
very clear,
putting it up. Yes, beautiful.
Making the intention very clear.
Come shooter, and the goal attacker has the ball.
The win put Kenya in the 5th position on the standings. Kenya will next be in action this afternoon with the match pitting host Namibia. Frederick Moki for Channel 1 Sports.
Botswana by 36 goals.
Kudos to our queens. Further afield, Australia came back from the brink to beat Pakistan by 5 wickets in what was another gripping men's T20 World Cup semi-final in Dubai, dashing Pakistan's hope of adding to their 2000